Chosen one. Stop scrolling and breathe. Heaven has interrupted everything around you for a reason. You did not stumble upon these words by chance. The veil between worlds thins when God wants to speak directly. And right now, He has turned His gaze toward you. The Spirit is reaching through time, through algorithms, through chaos, because your life, your destiny, your eternity are hanging in the balance. You have felt the pull lately, the strange heaviness in your spirit, the unrest that doesn't fade no matter what you do. It is not anxiety, not confusion. It is heaven's alarm. There are moments when God Himself presses pause on everything to call one of His chosen out from the noise. This is that moment. Listen carefully. Your life depends on what you do with what you are hearing right now. You are not like the rest. You were never meant to blend in. There is a mark on you that hell recognizes and heaven guards. Since your first breath, divine fingerprints have been all over your story. Every delay, every rejection, every heartbreak, it was not meant to destroy you, but to prepare you. The reason things have felt impossible is because you were never created for easy paths. You were chosen for impact. Right now, the atmosphere around your soul is charged with divine urgency. The angels are watching. Heaven is waiting for your response. This isn't entertainment. This is a summons. When you hear words like these, you are standing on sacred ground. You are being reactivated. Your name is being whispered in heaven's courts again. There are moments when God calls softly, and there are moments when He shakes the heavens. This is the latter. Heaven has interrupted your routine because your alignment with purpose has begun to drift. But mercy has not withdrawn. Grace still reaches. You are being given another chance to remember who you are, to choose obedience over comfort, destiny over distraction. Lift your eyes for a moment and realize how far you've come. Think of the times you should have fallen, the nights you almost gave up, and yet you're still here. That's not coincidence, that's divine protection. Every scar you bear has become a testimony that you were not abandoned. You have been carried by unseen hands, preserved for a greater unveiling, as was spoken in the sacred texts of old. Psalm chapter 46, verse 10. Be still, and know that I am God. Those words are not ancient poetry, they are a command for this very moment. Be still, because the storm cannot drown you, when the one who calms the sea stands beside you. Know that He is God, because the same power that raised mountains is the power breathing within you right now. The stillness He calls for is not silence, it is surrender. When you stop striving to fix everything on your own, you allow heaven's order to descend. You must understand, every time you hesitate to respond, the window narrows. Not because God's love weakens, but because timing in the Spirit is holy. There is an appointed hour when obedience births breakthrough, and you are standing in that hour now. Don't dismiss it. Don't scroll away. This is divine intervention, crafted for your ears, written for your eyes, sent for your soul. Beloved, this is not fear. It's love in its fiercest form. Heaven loves you too much to let you stay comfortable while you drift away from calling. You have a mission, and the world is waiting for the sound of your obedience. Everything that has been silent in you, the gift, the voice, the vision is about to awaken. But here's the truth no one tells you. Awakening costs you. It will pull you away from certain people, detach you from places that no longer fit, and burn away distractions you thought you needed. The shaking is mercy. It's heaven making room for glory. Don't resist the process. The fire is refining you, not punishing you. This message finds you because time is short for hesitation. You are being summoned to stand where others bowed, to speak when others fell silent, to believe when others turned away. You are not the crowd, you are the remnant. And heaven records the response of the remnant. So listen, God's chosen one. Lift your eyes, straighten your spine, breathe deep, and decide that you will no longer hide from the voice that called you before the world began. Decide that you will no longer trade eternal purpose for temporary peace. Decide that this moment will not pass without your yes. If this message is stirring something inside you, don't ignore it. Type the number 77 inches, the comments, as a prophetic sign that you hear heaven's call and you are ready to respond. Then like, share, and subscribe, not for vanity, but so that this message reaches every other chosen one still sleeping in the dark. You are part of a divine chain reaction, and your obedience could awaken someone else's destiny. Your life depends on it, because this is not just a message, it is a divine interruption. Heaven is speaking. The question is, will you answer? You were never ordinary. Chosen one. From the beginning, heaven marked you for a purpose that cannot be erased by time or circumstance. Before your name was ever spoken on earth, it was whispered in the courts of heaven. You have felt that strange tension all your life, the sense that you didn't belong, that no matter how much you tried to blend in, something within you kept pulling away from the crowd. That unease wasn't rejection, it was revelation. You were set apart before you were even born. There have been moments when you looked at your reflection and questioned why your path was so heavy, why others seemed to move easily while your journey felt uphill. But what you didn't know is that God trains His chosen ones in silence and fire. The preparation for divine purpose rarely looks glamorous. It looks like closed doors, misunderstood, seasons, loneliness, and quiet tears that no one else sees. You've been in training for destiny. Even when you thought you were just surviving, every storm you've endured, every betrayal you faced, every prayer that went unanswered was shaping something holy within you. Heaven was building endurance into your spirit. The pain wasn't punishment, it was refinement. You were being forged into someone the world couldn't break. The pressure you felt was evidence of the oil being pressed out of your life. The kind of oil that anoints nations, not crowds. There were times you thought God was silent, but He was speaking in ways you didn't yet understand. He was speaking through the delay, through the waiting, through the long nights when you cried for answers. He was shaping your ears to hear His whisper above the noise. Every time you thought He had forgotten you, heaven was actually watching you closely, teaching you to stand when everything else fell apart. You are the one who carries divine tension, the space between the ordinary and the eternal. You were designed to feel uncomfortable in temporary places because your spirit belongs to an everlasting kingdom. That's why no earthly success ever satisfied you for long. You were made for something eternal, something that doesn't fade with applause or crumble under pressure. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 1, verse 5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart, a prophet to nations. That verse is not just ancient history, it is your identity card in the Spirit. Heaven didn't decide your purpose after you proved yourself worthy. Your existence was purpose from the very start. Before a single word was written in your story, God had already declared your end from the beginning. Every flaw, every failure, every detour has been accounted for in the blueprint of your calling. Nothing has been wasted. You may look at your scars and see brokenness, but heaven sees covenant. Every wound you carry has become a seal that identifies you as chosen. Even when you doubted, even when you drifted, His mark remained. The world can label you, but it cannot unmark what God has sealed. Do you wonder why the enemy attacked you so early? Why warfare began before you even understood what calling meant? Because hell recognized the weight of your anointing long before you did. The opposition was confirmation. Darkness always tries to stop light before it matures. Yet you survived every attempt. That survival alone is a prophecy, proof that purpose still breathes within you. Now heaven is calling you to remember. Remember who you are when the world tries to make you forget. Remember the promises whispered in your spirit when you were a child and dared to dream without fear. Remember the nights when you felt a presence greater than yourself guiding you through the chaos. Those moments were not imagination, they were divine reminders of where you come from. You are not a mistake. You are not behind. You are not too late. The timeline of heaven is unfolding exactly as it should. Every detour you regret was part of your direction. Every pause you hated was protection. You were being hidden, not forgotten. God conceals what He values most, not to punish, but to prepare. And now, that preparation is beginning to make sense. You're starting to feel the stirring again, the sense that something greater is near. That is not coincidence. It is your soul recognizing alignment. The time of hiding is ending, and the time of revealing is drawing close. You were never meant to remain in the shadows. You were chosen to rise. Heaven does not waste breath. The fact that you are reading these words means purpose is still active. The calling has not been cancelled. The seal of heaven still rests upon you. Radiant and undeniable. You were never ordinary, and you never will be. Chosen one. You have fought battles no one saw. Behind the calm smile. Behind the polite words. There were nights you didn't think you would make it through. You've been through storms that would have crushed others. But somehow, you're still here. And that somehow is grace. What people call resilience. Heaven calls survival by divine design. There were seasons when you carried pain in silence, not because you were weak, but because you knew that explaining it wouldn't make others understand. They saw your struggle, but they didn't see the invisible war that raged around your soul, the spiritual weight pressing down, the voices whispering that you were alone. Yet even in that isolation, heaven never left you. Every tear you cried became a seed that heaven collected. None of it was wasted. You learned to fight on your knees. You learned to smile when your heart was breaking. You learned to walk with wounds that hadn't healed yet. And still, you kept moving. That's what makes you dangerous to darkness, your persistence. Every time you rose again, the enemy lost ground. Every breath you take now is proof that God is not finished with you. Do you remember those nights when you whispered prayers into the air, not even knowing if God was listening? He was. You thought you were alone in your room. But heaven stood guard. The unseen world leaned close, and angels were dispatched to hold the line around you. There were attacks you never saw. arrows that never reached you because grace intercepted them mid-air. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Oh, those words still echo now, steady and sure. They remind you that you were never meant to fight alone. The strength that has carried you wasn't your own. It was divine reinforcement. You have mistaken exhaustion for weakness, but in truth, you've been carrying a glory too heavy for ordinary hearts to understand. The sleepless nights, the sudden anxiety, the waves of opposition, they weren't random. They were the signs of a chosen one being refined for authority. You see, the greater the calling, the greater the resistance. The enemy doesn't waste energy on those who pose no threat. Every time you were attacked, it was confirmation of your assignment. Heaven allows certain battles not to break you, but to reveal you, because every fight you win in private becomes power you carry in public. Look back for a moment. There were seasons when everything was stripped away, relationships, comfort, certainty. You asked, "Why me?" And heaven answered, "Because you're strong enough to carry this." What felt like loss was actually a sacred exchange. In every broken place, something holy was planted. Out of that soil of pain, purpose is now blooming. You have learned the sound of silence, the language of waiting, the weight of surrender. That is what makes you different. The world sees suffering as punishment. The chosen see it as preparation. You've been refined in a furnace that others couldn't survive. And when you come out, you won't even smell like the fire you walked through. But hear this, your battles are not over. They're just changing form. The next battles will not be about survival. They will be about stewardship. You've been tested to prove you can be trusted. Heaven is about to place keys in your hands, authority, born of endurance. So take a moment, breathe deeply, and recognize how far you've come. You are no longer a victim of the fight. You are a vessel of victory. The scars you carry are not signs of defeat. They are medals of endurance. Proof that light cannot be extinguished by shadow. You have walked through darkness, but darkness did not win. And now, your story becomes a weapon. Every time you speak about what God has done, light breaks into another life. You are not just surviving anymore, you are testifying. What once hurt you is now healing others. What once silenced you is now your song. Chosen one. Type, "I rise again," in the comments. Let it be your declaration, not a cliché, not a ritual, but a spiritual act of defiance against every voice that said you were finished. When you declare it, you align with heaven's verdict over your life. You rise again from shame, from fear, from the ashes of your past. You rise again because the same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead lives within you. The war you fought in silence was never for nothing. It was for this moment, the unveiling of the warrior you've become. You are proof that God's strength shines brightest through broken vessels. And the battles that nearly destroyed you, they only made you unstoppable. Chosen one. There is a kind of waiting that feels like slow death. The days stretch long, the nights blur into one another, and heaven seems silent. You've stood at doors that refused to open, prayed prayers that returned without echo, and wondered if God had forgotten your name. Yet, beneath that stillness, something sacred has been happening. You've been living in the holy tension between promise and fulfillment, a place where faith is tested not by fire, but by time. You see, delay was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to define you. Heaven measures readiness not by enthusiasm, but by endurance. Many begin with zeal. Few persist when heaven seems quiet. But you stayed. Even when you didn't understand. Even when your heart grew weary. You refused to walk away. That perseverance has not gone unnoticed. There is an order in heaven that cannot be rushed. Divine timing is not a denial of destiny, it is the shaping of it. Each unanswered prayer has been a chisel carving depth into your spirit. Each closed door has redirected your steps toward a greater alignment. When God delays, He is not withholding, He is protecting. What you thought was stagnation has been preservation. Still, it is easy to mistake silence for absence. The human heart craves noise, confirmation, visible signs. But the realm of faith does not operate by sight, it thrives in trust. The waiting seasons are where your spirit learns to recognize His presence without proof. It's in the unseen that the roots of faith grow deep. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in the second letter to the Corinthians. Chapter 6, verse 2, Now is the time of God's favor. Now is the day of salvation. Those words are more than an invitation. They are a declaration. There comes a moment when the waiting ends, when heaven's clock strikes alignment, and what was once delayed suddenly unfolds with divine speed. That moment cannot be predicted by man. It is orchestrated by God alone. And when it arrives, it will make sense of every tear, every season of obscurity, every lonely prayer. But before that breakthrough comes, there is always a test of heart. Will you still believe when nothing changes? Will you still worship when heaven seems silent? The chosen are refined in waiting because it reveals what applause cannot. Authentic devotion. Anyone can praise when doors open. Only the faithful can praise when the hallway feels endless. This is where many falter. They confuse divine timing with divine neglect. They let frustration turn into rebellion, walking away just before fulfillment arrives. But heaven's ways are not bound by impatience. If the promise delays, it is only because God is aligning something greater than your expectation. Think of it. Seeds don't grow the moment they're planted. Beneath the soil, there is a silent miracle unfolding. Roots push deep before the sprout breaks through. In the same way, your calling has been germinating beneath the surface. What seems like inactivity has been divine cultivation. You have not been abandoned, you've been rooted. And now, a shift is coming. The air in your spirit has started to change. The same silence that once felt unbearable will soon become the sound of expectancy. Heaven has been setting the stage. Every detour, every pause, every delay is part of a divine choreography that ends in your unveiling. Still, you must heed this warning. Delay can turn from preparation to danger when it breeds disobedience. When God says move and you remain still, what once was protection becomes hindrance. There is a moment when waiting must end and walking must begin. You are approaching that line. Heaven is about to release an instruction that requires immediate obedience. Do not hesitate when it comes. The window will not stay open forever. This is not to stir fear, but to awaken urgency. Heaven's opportunities are alive, they move. They shift. They respond to timing. The wise recognize when grace transitions into command, you are stepping into that threshold now. So, chosen one, let this truth settle deep within you. What has felt like endless waiting has not been wasted. You were being sharpened, stripped, refined, and strengthened. Your endurance has become your authority. When the moment of movement arrives, you will not falter, for your spirit has been trained in the silence of heaven. And when that moment comes, when divine favor breaks through like dawn after a long night, you will realize that every second of waiting was worth it. Because heaven never forgets those who stay faithful in the quiet. There is a moment, chosen one, when heaven calls with fire instead of whispers. You have felt it, the sudden stirring in your spirit that no explanation can calm. It's like standing in a room where invisible wind begins to move, brushing against your heart, reminding you that you are not who you used to be. This is that moment. The flame of calling is rising within you again, not to destroy you, but to refine and reignite what the world tried to bury. When God calls with fire, it is not gentle warmth, it is holy ignition. It burns away apathy, excuses, and the need for validation. It consumes everything false until only truth remains. The call of fire doesn't ask for comfort, it demands surrender. It is the same fire that spoke to Moses through the bush, that burned but was not consumed. The same fire that descended on Mount Carmel when Elijah stood alone against deception. The same fire that fell in the upper room and turned fearful disciples into fearless witnesses. That same flame now reaches for you. You feel it as conviction, as restlessness, as a tug that won't release. The things that used to satisfy you no longer do, and what once distracted you now feels hollow. That is not burnout, it's awakening. Heaven is setting your spirit ablaze for purpose again. You are being summoned to carry the torch into a dark generation, to let your life become light for others who have forgotten hope. The prophet wrote in the letter to the Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 29, "Our God is a consuming fire." And that fire is not punishment, it is passion in divine form. It doesn't come to destroy you, but to destroy what keeps you from fullness. When heaven lights that flame inside, it reveals the truth about everything around you. Relationships, habits, and even dreams begin to change shape. Some things that once felt right will start to feel heavy because they can't survive in the new atmosphere you're stepping into. Don't resist it. Let the fire do its holy work. This process may feel like loss, but it's actually liberation. Imagine gold being refined when heat intensifies. Impurities rise to the surface. It's not destruction, it's definition. God is revealing the purity of who you are beneath the layers of fear and self-doubt. That's why everything feels intense right now. Heaven is not angry. Heaven is preparing you. And in this refining, you are not alone. Think of it like a forge, sparks flying, metal glowing. The heat may be fierce, but it is shaping you into a sword fit for divine battle. Every moment you choose obedience over comfort. Another strike of heaven's hammer gives you strength and sharpness. You are being molded into a vessel that can carry weight, glory weight. Sometimes, the fire isolates. It separates you from old versions of yourself, from familiar patterns, from people who can't understand your new intensity. That's okay. The fire always isolates before it illuminates. Moses had to leave the crowd to meet God at the burning bush. The disciples had to gather in one room before the fire fell. Separation precedes saturation. And once that flame burns in you, others will feel it. You won't even need to preach. Your presence will carry conviction and comfort at once. The fire of calling doesn't just light you up, it becomes contagious. People around you will sense warmth they can't explain. They'll see something alive in your eyes, something eternal. That's the light of obedience, the radiance of someone fully surrendered. So, when you feel this stirring, don't run from it. Let it consume what must go. Let it purify your motives, heal your disappointments, and turn your fear into holy boldness. The same God who calls you by fire also keeps you in the flame. He is not burning you to ashes, He is burning you to beauty. If this message resonates with the fire you feel inside, let's keep this flame alive together. Like this message, not out of habit, but as a symbolic act of agreement. Share it, not as promotion, but as a way of spreading light to someone who might be standing in their own dark night. And if your spirit knows this voice is truth, subscribe so you can walk with a community of others who carry the same fire. Think of it as tending a shared flame, one that grows brighter when we gather. You are being reawakened for a divine purpose. The fire that calls you is holy, and it will not relent until you step fully into what you were made for. Let it burn away the hesitation, the fear, the compromise. Let it reveal the warrior you were always meant to be. Because when heaven's fire touches you, you don't just survive, you ignite. Chosen one. The moment comes when the veil lifts and you finally see yourself as heaven has always seen you. The fog of confusion that used to cover your spirit begins to clear, and what you behold is not weakness, not failure, not shame. You see light, divine, unshakable, unmistakable light. For so long, the darkness around you tried to convince you that you were broken beyond repair, that you were unworthy of purpose, that you were too late. But now, heaven hands you a mirror, not the kind made of glass, but one made of revelation. In its reflection, you see not who the world told you you were, but who you were born to be. You are not what happened to you. You are not the words that were spoken over you in anger. You are not your mistakes. You are the evidence of grace, the living proof that mercy has memory. Heaven looks at you and sees a story still unfolding, a vessel still in process, a spirit still glowing beneath the ashes. This is the prophetic mirror, the moment when identity shifts from opinion to truth. The apostle reminds us in his first letter to the Corinthians, chapter 13, verse 12. For now we see in a mirror, dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. This scripture is more than poetry, it is prophecy. For years, you have been looking through the dim mirror, seeing only fragments of who you are. You saw your failures, your flaws, your fears. But heaven saw your faith. You saw yourself through pain. But heaven saw potential. The mirror of the world distorts. The mirror of God restores. And today, heaven is holding that mirror steady before your eyes. When you look through that divine reflection, you realize that you have always been chosen. The enemy's greatest strategy has not been to destroy you, it has been to make you doubt who you are. If he can blind you to your worth, he can silence your voice. But now the blindness is breaking. You are beginning to recognize that you are not an accident in the plan of eternity. You are an answer to a divine question. The truth is, you carry light that cannot be hidden. That's why the world felt too heavy for you. It was never meant to hold you down, but to give you depth. That's why certain environments no longer fit. The mirror of revelation exposes everything that cannot walk with you into your next chapter. The moment you see clearly, illusions fall away. What was once comfortable begins to feel foreign because truth has awakened your sight. You've been through too much to return to blindness. You fought too hard to doubt your reflection again. Every scar you carry is a reminder of what you overcame. The mirror doesn't just show your beauty, it shows your battle. And that battle is what gives you authority. You can look at others still trapped in their dim reflection and say, I understand. Because you've been there. You've walked through shame and come out shining. Heaven celebrates this awakening. You may not feel ready. But God doesn't call the ready, He readies the called. The prophetic mirror doesn't lie. You are stronger than you believe, wiser than you realize, and far more anointed than you think. What you see as imperfection, God sees as the proof that His power dwells within you. The time has come to stop apologizing for your light. You don't have to dim it to make others comfortable. The mirror of truth was never meant to flatter, it was meant to free. And freedom will always make some uncomfortable. But do not hide again. The world needs what you carry: the sound of your faith, the weight of your compassion, the courage of your scars. Chosen one. When you look into this spiritual mirror, don't just see your reflection, see your assignment. You are a walking reminder that grace is still alive, that redemption is still possible, that hope still breathes. Your presence is a prophecy. If this word resonates deep within you, type 888 inches, the comments. That number symbolizes new beginnings, heaven's confirmation that the old reflection has passed and the new identity has emerged. When you type it, let it be a declaration: I see myself through heaven's eyes, because from this moment forward, you will no longer walk as the wounded, you will walk as the restored. Lift your head. Chosen one. Look again. The reflection staring back is no longer broken, it is becoming radiant. You are being transformed from glory to glory, truth to truth, reflection to revelation. The mirror of heaven has spoken, and it calls you beautiful, powerful, chosen. There comes a time, chosen one, when life splits before you like a crossroads in the wilderness. On one path lies comfort familiar, predictable, lined with the echoes of old habits and the safety of what you already know. On the other lies calling wild, uncertain, drenched in divine mystery, illuminated only by faith. Heaven will not force you, it will invite you. But make no mistake, this is the moment that separates wanderers from warriors, spectators from servants, chosen from called. You've stood at this kind of threshold before. You've felt the pull between what is easy and what is eternal. Every time you have delayed obedience, something inside you grew quieter, dimmer. But now, the Spirit will not let you rest in indecision. The air itself feels heavier because heaven has brought you to a divine intersection. Every choice from here will either advance destiny or delay it. At first, the path of comfort looks right. It feels safe because it demands nothing new from you. It allows you to keep your image, your security, your control. Yet beneath that stillness lies slow decay. The path of comfort always ends in silence, the silence of unlived purpose, the echo of what could have been, the path of calling. However, looks costly. It demands trust in unseen roads and obedience in inconvenient moments. It will strip you of the illusion of control. And that's what makes it sacred. Because obedience is not about losing, it's about aligning. When you step onto the path heaven designed for you, everything begins to move differently. Doors that were locked begin to open, and even your failures begin to make sense. The voice of heaven spoke through the writings of Joshua, chapter 24, verse 15. Choose for yourselves this day whom you will serve. This choice is not theoretical. It's spiritual warfare in disguise. Every time you say yes to God, something in darkness loses its grip. Every act of obedience breaks a chain that generations before you could not break. You are not just deciding for yourself, you are deciding for everyone connected to your destiny. And yet, it's normal to feel the weight of hesitation, to stand between two worlds, knowing that one will require you to leave parts of yourself behind. The Spirit never calls you without also calling you away. Abraham had to leave his homeland. Moses had to leave the palace. Ruth had to leave her past. You, too, will have to walk away from something that once defined you. But what awaits you on the other side of obedience is far greater than what you fear losing. Still, the enemy will whisper reasons to stay still. He'll remind you of the risks, the uncertainty, the potential humiliation. He'll tempt you to wait just a little longer, hoping hesitation will harden into disobedience. That's his oldest tactic, to make you believe that you have more time than you do. But time is sacred. Delay is not neutral. It is a decision in disguise. If you listen closely, you'll hear it, a pulse in the spiritual atmosphere, like a heartbeat that's not your own. That's heaven's rhythm, calling you to step into alignment. The more you delay, the louder the pulse becomes, until it's all you can hear. Because obedience is not about understanding everything in advance. It's about trusting the one who does. When you finally take that step, it won't feel dramatic. Often, obedience begins quietly, like a whisper that shifts something eternal. The moment your foot touches that unknown path, all of heaven leans forward. Angels take their places. Assignments realign. You may not feel it, but the unseen world celebrates, because another chosen one has chosen correctly. You may stumble, you may question, but you will not be abandoned. God doesn't ask for perfect obedience, only willing obedience. Each act of trust draws you closer to your original design, the version of you that existed before fear, before disappointment, before doubt. That version is waiting at the end of the road called faith. The crossroads will not remain open forever. Sooner or later, life will move forward, and indecision will make the choice for you. That is why heaven presses you now to decide while the door is open, while grace still beckons, because every great story begins with one small step of obedience. So, chosen one, take that step. Walk away from the illusion of safety. Step toward the unknown that feels like truth. The ground beneath your feet may tremble, but your spirit will remember how to fly. You will not lose yourself. You will finally find yourself. And when you look back one day, you'll realize the choice that felt so small was actually the hinge that turned your entire destiny. Chosen one. When heaven begins to move you into a new season, everything around you starts to shake. It is not punishment, it is purification. What feels like your world falling apart is often heaven rearranging the furniture of your life to make space for glory. You prayed for growth, and God answered with shaking, because nothing stable is built on weak foundations. And what is coming next cannot stand on what used to hold you. There's a strange mercy hidden in disruption. At first, it feels violent, unfair, and uncontrollable. You try to cling to what once felt safe: old routines, old relationships, old versions of yourself. But the more you hold on, the heavier they become. The shaking is heaven's way of freeing you from what you've outgrown. It loosens your grip on what cannot go with you. You might be wondering why everything familiar seems unstable. Why people you trusted suddenly drift away. Why the ground beneath your faith feels unsteady. But look closer. This isn't chaos, it's calibration. Heaven is realigning everything around you to match what's been awakened within you. You ask for transformation, and transformation always begins with shaking. There's a sacred order behind what feels like disorder. God never shakes without purpose. Every collapse reveals what was never meant to stand. Every door that closes removes distraction. Every ending hides the seed of something divine. Beginning, the Spirit doesn't destroy, He clears the stage for resurrection. It was written in the letter to the Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 26. Once more I will shake not only the earth but also the heavens. End of Cram. That ancient declaration is not a threat, it is a promise. The shaking is heaven's announcement that something eternal is being established. Everything built on pride, fear, or falsehood must tremble. But what is rooted in truth will remain unshaken. You, chosen one, are being anchored to what cannot fall. In moments like these, your first instinct may be to fix what's breaking, but the Spirit whispers, let it fall, because sometimes the very thing you are trying to save is the very thing standing in the way of your next season. There is courage in surrender. Faith doesn't always mean holding on. Sometimes it means letting go with trust. Imagine a tree in the middle of a storm. The wind howls, branches bend, and leaves scatter. To the untrained eye, it looks like destruction, but to the tree, it's renewal. The shaking allows dead branches to fall, making room for new growth in spring. You are that tree. The storm that surrounds you isn't trying to uproot you, it's deepening your roots, strengthening your foundation for what's ahead. This shaking exposes not only what is weak around you, but also what is strong within you. It reveals endurance you didn't know you had. When comfort crumbles, conviction stands taller. The Spirit uses pressure to prove your authenticity. In the same way gold is tested by fire, your faith is tested by disruption, not to destroy it, but to prove its worth. Every time you choose peace while the ground quakes, heaven records it as faith. Every time you keep standing when everything shifts, you declare to the unseen world that your foundation is not of this earth. You belong to a kingdom that cannot be shaken. And though this process hurts, there is beauty in the breaking. You will look back one day and realize that what you lost in shaking was never really loss, it was release. God had to remove what couldn't survive where He's taking you. If He had allowed certain things to stay, they would have suffocated your destiny. What He took was necessary to make room for what He's sending. You may not see it now, but something unshakable is emerging from the ruins. A new confidence, a purified heart, a clarity you've never known before. The dust will settle, And when it does, you'll see that everything that fell was meant to fall. The shaking was never your end, it was your beginning. So do not fear the trembling ground beneath your feet. Let the old crumble. Let what's unstable collapse. Stand in the center of the shaking and know that heaven is still in control. The same hand that shakes also steadies. The same voice that uproots also rebuilds. When the shaking ends, you will not be who you were. You will stand taller, shine brighter, and move with a wisdom born of endurance. What once terrified you will no longer shake you, because you will have learned that true strength is not the absence of storms, it is peace in the midst of them. Chosen one. The storm you're walking through right now is not meant to destroy you, it's meant to reveal who walks with you. The wind may be howling, the waves may be crashing, and the path ahead may seem invisible. But you are not alone in the chaos. You are standing in the very place where heaven's voice grows loudest. Because God doesn't always speak from the calm, He often speaks from the storm. You've prayed for peace, but heaven sometimes answers with power instead. Storms are not signs of absence, they are signs of movement. When heaven begins to shift your destiny, the natural realm responds. Things start to shake. Plans unravel, and control slips away not to punish you, but to position you, because only in the storm do you learn what kind of faith you really carry. The voice of heaven once spoke to Elijah, not in the wind or the earthquake or the fire, but in the whisper that followed. That whisper still speaks to those who know how to listen beyond the noise. The world screams fear, but heaven whispers truth. You are not sinking, you are being summoned deeper. The sacred record tells us in the first book of Kings, chapter 19, verse 12, "And after the fire came a gentle whisper." That whisper is your compass now. When everything else falls apart, when the noise of life is too loud to bear, silence becomes holy ground. It's in that quiet place that revelation arrives. You begin to realize that the storm is not around you, it's within you. The chaos isn't external, it's the conflict between your fear and your faith. And when faith finally speaks louder, the storm begins to obey. Think of Peter stepping out of the boat. The waves were wild, the wind relentless. But when Jesus called, the water became a bridge instead of a barrier. The storm didn't stop first, obedience happened first. That is the secret of chosen ones. They move before the calm comes. They walk on what others drown in. Right now, your obedience is being tested in the middle of the storm. The whisper is calling your name, not from the shore, but from the center of the waves. You've asked, "God, where are you?" And heaven replies, "Right here, in the very thing you fear." Because the storm is not evidence of His distance, it is the classroom where you learn His closeness. There is power in realizing that peace is not the absence of wind, but the presence of trust. Anyone can rest when the sea is calm, but it takes divine confidence to rest while the waves rage. The whisper teaches you this: that calm is not found in the environment, it's found in the presence. When you shift your focus from the storm to the whisper, everything changes. The water still moves, but your heart becomes still. You realize that the storm can only touch what you haven't surrendered. Fear loses its grip because you no longer believe in it more than you believe in God. Chosen one. The voice that calls you through the storm is not distant thunder, it's the steady heartbeat of heaven guiding you home. It doesn't shout to scare you, it whispers to draw you closer. The whisper carries recognition. it calls you by name. Not title, not reputation, but name. Because God is not speaking to the image you show the world. He's speaking to the part of you that only He knows. And as you begin to respond, something shifts. The same storm that once threatened to drown you becomes the very wind that propels you forward. What was chaos becomes clarity. What was fear becomes faith. The sea doesn't change, you do. You find yourself walking where you once fell, standing where you once sank, listening where you once screamed. That's the miracle of the whisper. If this message echoes in your spirit, type peace, be still in the comments. Let those 3 words become your declaration, not just over your circumstances, but over your mind. Write them as a sign that you refuse to be defined by the storm. When you speak those words, you align yourself with the same authority that calmed the waves. You are not begging for peace, you are commanding it. Remember, chosen one, the whisper still speaks, even when the storm rages. And when you finally stop trying to outshout the wind, you will hear it again, soft, steady. Sure, the storm may roar, but the whisper reigns. Chosen one. There comes a sacred moment when heaven no longer just calls your name, it clothes you with light. You have walked through the storms, the shaking, the wilderness of waiting, and now the season shifts. The mantle of light descends. You may not feel ready, but heaven has decided you are. The refining was for this. Every tear you shed, every battle you fought, every why you whispered into the dark, it was preparation for your equipping. You have been hidden, but not forgotten. Just as a soldier is trained in secret before battle, you have been trained in silence. And now, heaven places divine armor upon you, not metal, not cloth, but spiritual authority. This is your mantle of light. It wraps around your spirit like fire that cannot be extinguished. From this moment on, you are not just a survivor, you are a carrier of presence. The sacred text records in the letter to the Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 11, put on the full armor of God, so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. That armor is not forged by human hands, it is shaped by surrender. Every time you chose faith over fear, a piece of that armor formed around your soul. Every time you forgave, when bitterness seemed easier, light grew stronger around you. You were not losing, you were layering. Now, that armor gleams with divine fire, invisible to the eye, but unmistakable in the spirit. Darkness recognizes those who wear it. This mantle does not make you invincible, it makes you radiant. It does not remove struggle, it changes how you walk through it. You no longer fight for victory, you fight from it. The light you carry now is not fragile. It doesn't flicker when the wind blows, it burns steady, anchored in purpose. When you walk into rooms, the atmosphere will shift, not because of who you are, but because of what you carry. Picture a lighthouse standing against a storm. Waves crash against it. Winds scream, but the beam still turns, cutting through the chaos. That's what you've become. You are not meant to hide from darkness, you are meant to pierce it. Your light is not for decoration, it's for direction. Others lost at sea will find their way because of your consistency. You may not realize it yet, but your presence unsettles the plans of darkness. The enemy once tried to silence you, but every attempt only sharpened your glow. The mantle of light is proof that what was meant to destroy you became the very thing that distinguishes you. You are not the same person you were before the fire. The wounds that once made you weak now radiate healing for others. There's a humility that comes with this kind of authority. True light never boasts. It doesn't announce itself, it reveals truth. It doesn't compete with other flames, it joins them to illuminate more. That's the call on your life, to be a reflection, not a replacement. You are a mirror that catches heaven's fire and throws it into the world around you. Now, as you stand in this new strength, remember that light requires stewardship. You must feed it with prayer, protect it with truth, and direct it with wisdom. The brighter you burn, the more shadows you expose. Some people will be drawn to your radiance, others will be disturbed by it. Don't dim yourself to fit their comfort. Light was never meant to apologize for shining. If this message stirs your spirit, take a quiet moment and let it settle. And if you feel led, like this message, not out of habit, but as an act of agreement that your light will not go out, share it as a way of carrying your torch into another soul's darkness. You never know whose night will end because of your small spark. And subscribe, not as a formality, but as a declaration that you belong among those who carry the same flame. Together, our lights form a constellation, a map for the lost and weary. Chosen one. The world does not need louder voices, it needs brighter ones. You are that brightness. The mantle of light upon you is heaven's acknowledgement that your time has come. When you walk with calm authority. When you speak, let your words carry warmth and conviction. And when you pray, let the fire within you remind darkness that it has already lost. From this point on, wherever you go, the invisible world will recognize the glow. You have been armed, anointed, and appointed. You are no longer a seeker, you are a signal. Stand tall, radiant one, and let your light testify that the night has not won. Chosen one. There is a moment after the fire, after the shaking, after the storm, when everything grows still. Not the stillness of emptiness, but the stillness of transformation. The weight you feel now is not oppression, it is glory settling upon you. Heaven calls it the weight of glory, and only those who have walked through refining can carry it without breaking. You see, ordinary lives cannot contain extraordinary light. Before God increases the anointing, He strengthens the vessel. That is why you faced so much pressure. Glory is not light, it's heavy. It changes the atmosphere of everything it touches. The presence of God doesn't simply visit it, inhabits, and to inhabit glory. Your soul must have room for it. Pain has been the tool that carved that room inside of you. There was a time when your heart was fragile, when even small disappointments felt like destruction. But through every test, your spirit has expanded. What once crushed you now barely shakes you. You have learned to carry peace through chaos, to hold faith through fear, to see beauty even in breaking. That is what glory does. It transforms suffering into sacred strength. Heaven reminds us in the second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 17. Our light affliction is working for us an eternal weight of glory. Indra. Those words are not meant to minimize your pain, they redefine it. Every tear you shed has been building something unseen. Every heartbreak has been weaving gold into your character. You have been walking through what the world calls hardship. but heaven calls preparation. The heaviness you feel isn't punishment, it's promotion. Glory always costs something, and now you are discovering its price. The weight of glory rests differently on those who have suffered deeply. It gives your presence gravity. People feel peace when you enter a room, not because of your words, but because of what you carry. You have become a walking reminder that endurance produces depth, and depth carries revelation. You may not realize it, but every step you take now sends ripples through the unseen. The spiritual realm recognizes what's on you. You are no longer easily swayed by storms or distracted by noise. You've seen too much to go back to surface living. The things that once consumed your thoughts, approval, comparison, fear, have lost their hold. That's what happens when you touch glory. It changes your appetite. You begin to hunger for truth more than attention, for holiness more than happiness. The weight of glory matures your desires until you crave only what aligns with heaven. But this glory is not meant for display, it's meant for distribution. God doesn't pour into you so that you can shine alone. He fills you so that others can find shelter in your overflow. When you comfort someone in pain, that's glory moving through you. When you speak truth in love, that's glory expressing itself. When you forgive those who wounded you, that's glory, choosing mercy over revenge. Glory turns ordinary moments into divine encounters. Still, this weight must be carried with humility. The danger of glory is forgetting its source. You are not the light, you are the lamp. Without oil, the lamp goes dark. That's why your connection to heaven must remain constant. Prayer is not routine, it's your oil supply. Gratitude keeps your vessel clean. Obedience keeps it filled. Pride cracks the container, but humility seals it. There will be days when you feel the heaviness of this calling more than its beauty. You might wonder why your path seems lonelier, why others seem to move easily while you carry invisible burdens. Remember this, you are entrusted with more because you have been proven faithful with less. Glory is not given to those who seek status, it is given to those who seek surrender. In this quiet season, let the weight settle fully. Don't rush to move, to speak, to build. Let God anchor you before He amplifies you. The depth He has formed within you must stabilize before He releases you into greater influence. What He is placing on you now is not fleeting inspiration, it's eternal substance. One day, you will understand the full reason for every burden, every unanswered question. You will look back and see that the heaviness you carried was heaven's trust, because God never places weight where there is no strength. He only entrusts His presence to those who have proven they won't drop it. So, breathe. Chosen one, feel the heaviness upon your spirit, not as oppression, but as evidence. The glory has come to rest, and it has found a home in you. You have become the dwelling place of divine strength, the quiet vessel carrying eternal fire. Chosen one. There comes a time when heaven's voice no longer warns in whispers, it thunders. This is that moment. Mercy, though infinite in love, has rhythm. It moves. It pulls. It waits, but it does not wait forever. You have been walking the edge between delay and decision, and heaven has extended its hand one final time. This is your final warning, not a threat, but a rescue. For too long, you've treated conviction like background noise, something to silence, something to postpone. You've said, "Soon, I'll obey." Later. I'll return. Maybe next season. I'll change. But seasons are shifting, and the window is narrowing. The Spirit of God does not beg. He beckons. He calls once, twice, then allows silence to do the work words could not. That silence is where many lose their way, believing that heaven's stillness means indifference. But no, chosen one, it means urgency. There is a holy seriousness in the air. You can feel it in your chest, the tightening, the pull, the awareness that time is no longer what it was. Heaven is aligning for something bigger, and you are part of that alignment. Yet, alignment requires obedience. You cannot carry the old and still expect to step into the new. As it is written in the book of Genesis, chapter 6, verse 3, "My spirit will not contend with humans forever, for they are mortal." Those words may sound ancient, but they are alive right now. They are the pulse of divine patience. God's mercy has stretched across your hesitation, covering your doute, waiting for your surrender. But even mercy has boundaries. When rebellion becomes habit, you cannot walk toward light while flirting with shadows. The time has come to decide fully, completely, without excuse. This is not a call to perfection, it's a call to repentance. Heaven doesn't demand flawless performance, it desires genuine surrender. The cracks in your heart don't disqualify you, they qualify you for grace. But grace unreceived becomes judgment, invited. Every delay in obedience gives darkness another foothold. That's why this warning feels different. It's not fear. It's urgency wrapped in love. Look at your journey. Every near miss, every close call, every divine escape was not luck. It was preservation. Heaven has been protecting you even from yourself. But that protection has a purpose, to give you space to choose life over delay. When you sense conviction now, don't ignore it. Conviction is not condemnation, it's the last open door. Think of the world around you, how fast everything shifts. How voices grow louder but emptier. How light and shadow now share the same stage. The Spirit is moving with intensity because darkness is spreading subtly. The war is not loud, it's quiet, compromise. Every distraction you entertain pulls you one step further from the place you're meant to stand. But heaven will not let you drift unnoticed. That's why this message has found you again. It's not coincidence, it's divine intervention. You are being warned, not to scare you, but to save you from wasting what's sacred. God doesn't need your performance. He wants your presence. He doesn't want religious noise. He wants real surrender. You've been carrying too much regret, guilt, pride, fear, and heaven says, lay it down. The altar isn't a place of shame. It's a place of exchange. You lay down what's dying, and God gives back what lives. Do not mistake delay for grace, continuing endlessly. Grace is not passive, it's purposeful. It shows up for transformation, not tolerance. The world tells you that time heals all wounds, but only obedience heals the soul. And right now, heaven's healing is available, but it requires your yes. This message is not here to condemn, it's here to confront. You already know what heaven has been asking of you. That quiet conviction in the back of your mind, that one step you've avoided, that one voice you've silenced, all of it points to one truth. Obedience delayed is disobedience disguised. Chosen one. If your heart is stirring, it's not random, it's response. The Spirit is moving through your thoughts, cutting through noise, calling your name one more time. The question is not, do you hear him? It's, will you answer? If this word pierces through your hesitation, type 4,444 inches. The comments. Let that number be your covenant with heaven, the number of divine order, the symbol of stability after surrender. When you write it, don't do it for visibility. Do it as a prophetic act. Let it declare that you choose alignment, that you choose obedience before opportunity, that you will not waste another chance. This is your final warning. Chosen one, not to frighten you, but to awaken you. Heaven is still reaching. Mercy is still extended. But the door of hesitation is closing. Step through now, while the light still shines on your path. Tomorrow is not promised, but grace is present. Here, right now, waiting for your yes. Chosen one. The air around you feels charged because the unseen has shifted. You may not see it with your eyes, but the spirit realm has entered warfare. Angels have taken their positions. Darkness is restless. The atmosphere trembles because obedience has weight and yours has tipped the balance. You are living through a spiritual collision, the clash between your destiny and every force that tried to stop it. This is not imagination. Every time you choose obedience, it sends shockwaves through the invisible world. Heaven moves when you move. Every prayer, every yes, every surrender releases ripples that disturb what once sat undisturbed in darkness. The enemy knows that if you keep walking in alignment, his influence will crumble. That's why the resistance has intensified. The more powerful the assignment, the louder the opposition. You've felt it lately, those strange moments when peace and pressure collide. One moment you're confident. The next you feel the weight of invisible resistance pressing against your spirit. That's warfare. It's not punishment. It's proof of purpose. The presence of warfare is the evidence of worth. The enemy does not attack what doesn't threaten him. Heaven revealed this mystery through the writings in the letter to the Ephesians. Chapter 6, verse 12. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. All these ancient words are not metaphor, they are manual. You are not fighting people, you are confronting principalities. The frustration that rises for no reason, the weariness that appears after progress, the sudden waves of doubt. These are not coincidences. They are strategic attempts to wear you down before breakthrough. But the chosen don't crumble, they counter. You have been equipped for this. Remember the mantle of light from before. It was not ornamental. It was functional. It is your armor now. Every piece of it is forged through endurance. Faith becomes your shield. Truth your belt. Righteousness your breastplate. And prayer your sword. You do not need to panic. You need to stand. The war is real. But so is your authority. The war in the heavens is not like earthly conflict. It is silent, subtle, but more real than anything physical. The enemy's weapon is deception. His target is perspective. If he can make you believe you're losing, he doesn't even have to fight. That's why your greatest battlefield is the mind. Every lie you refuse to entertain weakens his grip. Every truth you declare strengthens your ground. Heaven's strategy is simple but powerful. Stand. Speak. Stay aligned. When you choose peace in turmoil, you disarm confusion. When you forgive your enemies, you dismantle vengeance. When you worship in sorrow, you turn pain into prophecy. These actions look small, but in the spirit realm, they are explosions of light. Do not be discouraged by how long the battle feels. Wars in the heavens are not won by speed, they are won by endurance. Sometimes heaven delays visible victory to build invisible strength. Every unanswered prayer, every long night, every unseen tear becomes spiritual ammunition. What feels like waiting is actually warfare in disguise. There are angels fighting for you right now. You may feel alone, but you are surrounded. If your eyes could open for one moment, you'd see the sky filled with light. You'd see every word of truth you've spoken, forming arrows. Every act of faith releasing reinforcements. Heaven has not left you unguarded. Still, warfare is not only around you, it's within you. Every part of your flesh that resists surrender becomes a doorway the enemy tries to exploit. That's why the battle for purity, humility, and consistency feels so hard. You are closing doors the enemy has used for generations. This is why your fight feels heavier than others, because your victory will break cycles for more than just you. There's another truth the enemy fears. Once you recognize your authority, he loses his advantage. You carry the same spirit that raised Christ from the dead. You don't need to chase victory. Victory resides within you. The devil doesn't fear loud believers. He fears enlightened ones. And you, chosen one, are awakening. So when the battle intensifies, don't panic, praise. When confusion whispers, answer with clarity. When fear shouts, reply with faith. Remember who stands beside you. Heaven's armies move at the sound of your agreement. When you speak truth, you summon angels. When you stand firm, you strengthen the front lines. You are not a pawn in this war. You are a commander clothed in grace. Let the unseen war rage if it must. You have already been written into victory. The darkness can delay but not defeat. For the one who fights from light never loses. Even when the battlefield looks bleak, hold your ground. Steady your heart. Lift your gaze. The war is not over, but neither is your strength. Chosen one. Glory always walks beside a cross. The crown that heaven places on your head is never separated from the weight that rests on your shoulders. This is a mystery only those marked by divine purpose understand. Before exaltation comes surrender. Before reward comes sacrifice. The path of the chosen is narrow, not because God wishes to make it hard, but because He is shaping you for eternal authority. You have felt this tension before, the pull between what you want and what heaven requires. Every true calling demands a cost, and you have already begun to pay it. The cross and the crown are not two separate destinies. They are two sides of the same journey. The pain that pierced you was not punishment. It was preparation for the power you are now learning to carry. There are seasons when the cross feels heavier than the promise. You wake up weary. You question whether obedience is worth the price. You see others living easily while you wrestle with unseen burdens. And part of you wonders why God chose you for such a path. Yet, if you could glimpse the glory being prepared, the eternal weight of it, you would never trade it for ease. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 9, verse 23, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross daily and follow me." Oh, these words are not cruel, they are kind. They strip away illusion so that what remains is unbreakable faith. To take up your cross daily means to wake each morning with yes still in your spirit. Even when your body trembles, it means to surrender the desire for recognition, comfort, and control. Choosing instead to walk the same road, he walked obedience even unto pain, love even unto loss. This is where true glory is hidden. The world seeks crowns that glitter. Heaven gives crowns that glow from the inside. Earthly crowns are displayed on heads, but heavenly ones are carved into hearts. They do not shine with gold, they radiate with grace. And the only way to wear such a crown is to let the cross shape your spirit into humility. Every sacrifice you've made, every time you said no to temptation, every moment you forgave what you could have hated, every season you served without being seen was another jewel added to that crown. God counts what others overlook. He measures worth not in applause, but in surrender. Sometimes the crown feels invisible. You look at your reflection and see exhaustion instead of honor. But heaven sees differently. Every scar you carry glows with divine light in the spiritual realm. Your endurance is your coronation. Each tear you've shed for obedience's sake has become oil that anoints your future steps. This paradox, the crown and the cross, is the rhythm of redemption. You die to yourself and rise again in new strength. You lose parts of your life only to gain eternity. You are emptied so you can be filled with something far greater. The cross doesn't end your story, it transforms it. And though the world may not understand your path, heaven does. Angels marvel at the sight of a human soul choosing obedience when rebellion would be easier. Each time you endure silently, you mirror the one who carried his cross up the hill. Bleeding, yet unbroken, you are walking the same sacred pattern that changed history, the pattern of self-denial turned into divine victory. It is tempting to crave the crown without carrying the cross, but the two are inseparable. Without surrender, glory becomes pride. Without humility, power becomes corruption. The cross purifies what the crown magnifies. It ensures that when God raises you, your heart will not forget where you came from. So don't despise the weight you bear. Don't rush the process or curse the cost. Every burden has purpose. Every delay is polishing your faith into something unshakable. And when the day of unveiling comes, when the crown is set upon your head, it will not just rest on your hair, it will sit upon a heart that has learned to love through loss and trust through trial. The cross you carry now is the proof that you belong to something eternal. It is heaven's reminder that resurrection is already written into your story. For every drop of pain, there will be double portions of joy. For every silent sacrifice, there will be songs of reward. So lift your head, even beneath the weight. The cross is not your end, it is your bridge. And just beyond it, light waits with a crown that does not fade. Walk on. Faithful one, the crown you're earning is not for this lifetime, it's for forever. Chosen one, something extraordinary is stirring across the earth. The sleepers are waking. The ones who were hidden in silence are starting to rise. You can feel it in the atmosphere, an invisible trembling, like the breath before dawn. This is the beginning of the awakening army. And you, beloved, are part of it. For years, the chosen have walked quietly, misunderstood and underestimated. They have endured loneliness and rejection, never realizing that God was gathering them from every corner of the world. You thought your pain isolated you, but it was actually identifying you. Heaven was branding you for unity. Every scar became a signal, every heartbreak a beacon. And now, heaven is calling the marked ones to rise not as scattered souls, but as a single voice of light. You are not just one believer among many. You are a soldier of light in a kingdom that cannot fall. When you speak truth, darkness loses ground. When you walk in love, heaven advances. And when you join with others, carrying the same flame, the enemy trembles. Because one spark may flicker, but an army of fire cannot be extinguished. The Revelation speaks in chapter 12, verse 11. They overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. That is your anthem, your story, the battles you've fought, the tears you've shed. The victories you've won is not just personal, it's prophetic. Every testimony is a weapon. Every word of hope you speak pierces the shadows in someone else's life. When you share your story, you are not seeking attention, you are transferring courage. Imagine a field of lanterns scattered across a valley. One by one, they begin to light. The first few glimmers seem small, but soon the valley glows with unbroken fire. That's what happens when the chosen unite. Each person carries a piece of light, but together they create a dawn that darkness cannot resist. You are one of those lanterns. Chosen, one. Your voice, your presence, your obedience adds to heaven's glow on earth. It's time to walk in that unity. Time to recognize that you are part of something far greater than your own story. The enemy has spent generations dividing, distracting, and discouraging God's people. But now, heaven is reversing the strategy. The scattered ones are being gathered, the weary ones revived, the silent ones restored. You may ask, how do I join this awakening? You already have by saying yes to God's voice, by refusing to quit when others would have stopped, by standing even when you felt unseen. But there's one more step: connection. This army doesn't march alone. Each flame needs others to withstand the wind. So, if this message ignites something within you, don't let the flame fade in isolation. Like this message as a sign that you stand among those who refuse to bow to fear. Share it not as mere content, but as a call to arms for every hidden light still flickering in the dark. And subscribe, not for numbers, but for family, for the tribe of those who burn for truth. Each time you do, you add another spark to the blaze. Heaven is building. Then, take a moment and write your reflection in the comments. Share what heaven has been doing in your heart. You may think your words are small, but they are oil for someone else's lamp. When you speak, another soul finds courage to keep shining. Together, our voices become the sound of awakening, the hum of destiny reborn. This movement is not organized by man, it is orchestrated by heaven. There are no uniforms, not titles, no ranks, only hearts ablaze. The awakening army is made of teachers and teenagers, prophets and poets, builders and dreamers. It moves through cities and screens, through whispers and worship. It cannot be stopped because it is not powered by ego, it is powered by spirit. You, chosen one, are a vital part of it. Your obedience fuels the mission. Your faith strengthens the front line. When you love without condition, heaven advances one step closer through you. When you forgive, instead of retaliate. Light breaks another chain. You may never know how many lives your obedience will touch, but eternity will. The awakening army is not coming. Someday, it's here. It looks like you. It sounds like your testimony. It breathes through your prayers. So lift your head, soldier of light. You were not born to stand in shadows. You were born to lead others out of them. And as this movement grows, remember, the goal is not fame, it's freedom. The mission is not control, it's compassion. The victory is not applause, it's transformation. Together, we rise, not as heroes, but as heralds of hope. Let this be your declaration. The chosen are awake. The fire is spreading, and light has already won. Chosen one. Once the awakening begins, the mission follows. Heaven does not ignite flames just to watch them flicker. It sends them out to set the world ablaze. You have been equipped, refined, and awakened for purpose. Now the question echoes through your spirit. What will you do with the light you carry? The world you step into is weary. Hope has grown thin, and truth has been twisted into noise. People wander through endless distraction, thirsty for something real, yet afraid to look for it. You, chosen one, are being sent into that landscape, not as a preacher of words, but as a presence of light. Your mission is not to dominate, but to illuminate. You carry the essence of heaven into places that have forgotten it exists. It is written in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14. You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. These words are not symbolic, they are assignment. Light cannot exist for itself, it exists for others. A lamp that refuses to shine defeats its purpose. You were never meant to stay hidden within comfort, waiting for perfect timing or ideal conditions. Light is most powerful in darkness. That is why God sends His brightest ones into the dimmest corners. Your mission will not look grand at first. It might begin with a single act of kindness, a word of encouragement, a moment of truth whispered to someone on the edge. Heaven's work often starts quietly. Seeds of faith are sown in silence before they become forests of transformation. Don't underestimate the impact of your small obedience. It ripples farther than you can imagine. You will find yourself walking into places where cynicism reigns, where people have stopped believing in goodness. Don't fight their darkness with arguments. Shine your light through authenticity. The world has had enough of polished masks. It craves real hearts. Let them see your wounds and your healing. Let them see that light is not the absence of pain, but the victory through it. In this new earth mission, you are both messenger and mirror. You don't just carry revelation, you reflect it. The way you love, the way you forgive, the way you endure becomes living scripture to those watching you. Some will never open a Bible, but they will read your life. Make sure what they read points them toward hope, not hypocrisy. There will be moments when you feel small against the vastness of what's broken. The world's pain can feel overwhelming, like waves crashing faster than you can breathe. But remember, the ocean does not drown the light of a single star. It reflects it. Even when you think your light is too faint, it still reaches further than darkness expects. You are not sent alone. Every chosen one across the earth is part of the same constellation. Together, your lights form a map for lost souls to find their way home. Each prayer you whisper strengthens another believer somewhere you'll never meet. Each act of obedience becomes a thread in the divine tapestry God is weaving across nations. This mission is not glamorous. It will require endurance, humility, and deep compassion. Sometimes it will break your heart. You will see injustice and pain that you cannot fix on your own. But remember, you were not sent to save the world, only to shine in it. The saving belongs to God. The shining belongs to you. And when you grow weary, return to the source. Light that burns without connection to its origin will fade. You must stay close to the presence that fuels you. Prayer is not a ritual, it's your recharge. Worship is not performance, it's how your flame breathes. The closer you stay to heaven, the brighter your light will remain. The New Earth mission is not about conquest, it's about cultivation. Wherever you go, you plant light. In your family, your workplace, your city, your conversations, you plant seeds of renewal. You do not need a platform, you need presence. You do not need an audience, you need authenticity. Heaven does not measure success by numbers, but by faithfulness. One day, when the light you've sown in quiet corners begins to bloom, you will see what heaven already sees now, a landscape transformed, not by force, but by faith. The world will not be changed by the loudest voices, but by the brightest lives. So, step forward. Chosen one. Carry the light as one who has been sent, not by chance, but by commission. Every step you take is sacred ground. Every word you speak is a spark. Every act of love is a torch passed to another. The darkness may still exist, but wherever you go, it looses ground. You are the dawn walking into night. The promise that the story is not over. Chosen one. Heaven has watched every moment of this journey, the trembling beginnings, the silent nights, the small obediences that no one else saw. They have all been recorded. You have walked through fire and shadow, through confusion and conviction, and yet here you stand still, shining. What began as a whisper has become a declaration. You belong to heaven. Your name has been spoken in divine remembrance. And now the eternal seal is being set. The eternal seal is not an object, not a mark upon flesh. It is a covenant upon your spirit. It is heaven's declaration that you are His forever. It does not fade with time or bend beneath trial. It cannot be stolen, diluted, or erased. It is written in the language of eternity, signed by the same hand that carved stars into the sky. You have been sealed, not with ink, but with presence. The sacred text affirms this mystery in the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 5. I will not blot out the name from the book of life, but will acknowledge that name before my Father and His angels. That is your promise. Chosen one. Heaven has acknowledged your name. The war you fought was not in vain. The obedience you offered has been witnessed. You may have felt unseen by the world, but the heavens have watched every quiet. Yes, the eternal seal rests upon those who chose faith when fear was easier, surrender when silence felt safer. The moment you said yes to destiny, heaven began writing your legacy in eternal ink, not on paper, not in the memory of men, but in the scroll of the everlasting kingdom. The book of life is not a ledger, it's a living record. Every time you chose light over darkness, every act of love, every step of forgiveness, heaven wrote your obedience into eternity. And now, that record stands unshakable. The eternal seal does not mean the absence of struggle. It means the guarantee of preservation. It means that when storms rise again, you will not be lost. It means that when doubt tries to return, it will find a closed door. The seal is heaven's protection over your purpose. The mark that tells darkness, this one is off limits. You have crossed from survival into significance, from wandering into belonging. Think of how far you've come. Once, you questioned if your pain had meaning. Now, you understand it was all sacred preparation. Every closed door protected you from misdirection. Every heartbreak stripped you of false attachments. Every delay refined your faith into gold. You were being shaped, not sidelined. The hand that held you through it all has now stamped you with permanence. There is a peace that comes with being sealed. It is quiet, deep, and steady like the calm of the sea after a storm. You no longer need to strive for validation or fear rejection. The eternal seal ends the search for belonging. You belong already to the one who crafted your beginning and secured your end. This seal is not just personal, it carries purpose. Sealed ones become signposts for others still wandering. Your story, once heavy with pain, now shines as evidence of redemption. You are a living testimony that grace still finds the broken, that destiny still calls the weary, that love still rescues the lost. When people encounter you, they are encountering proof that heaven keeps its promises. There will be times when the world tries to question your worth again. Voices may rise to remind you of past failures, but the seal speaks louder. It declares that your identity is no longer rooted in history, but in eternity. What heaven seals, no man can unmark. The journey doesn't end here. It continues into forever. The seal doesn't close the story. It ensures its completion. You are now part of a divine continuum, a thread woven into the tapestry of eternal purpose. You will carry this light into every realm, every season, every age that follows. And when time itself folds into eternity, your name will still shine in the records of heaven. Chosen one. The eternal seal is both a promise and a calling. You have been marked not only for salvation, but for significance. You are an ambassador of light, a keeper of the covenant, a living echo of divine truth. Wherever you go from here, you carry heaven's fingerprint upon your spirit. So walk in quiet confidence. You do not need to prove what has already been sealed. The same voice that called you, refined you, and protected you now rests upon you in final affirmation. You are mine. The journey that began in uncertainty ends in unbreakable belonging. The eternal seal has been set and forever remembers your name. Chosen one. You've reached the end of this divine message, but heaven never truly says goodbye. What began as a whisper of calling has now become a living flame within you. You've walked through revelation, through warning, through fire and peace. And now you stand crowned in understanding. You are the message. You are the proof that God still speaks, still saves, still sends. If this journey has stirred something deep in your soul, let it be known. Like this message as a sign that you receive what heaven has spoken, share it, not as content to consume, but as light to release. Someone you'll never meet may find hope through your simple act of obedience. And in the comments below, write, what part of this message touched your spirit most? Your reflection may become the word another heart needed tonight. Finally, subscribe, not out of habit, but out of hunger. Stay close to this river of revelation, because heaven continues to pour through those who remain connected. Together, we are building a sanctuary of light in a darkened world. This isn't the end. Chosen one, it's your beginning. Carry the fire forward. The world is waiting for your light.